Where does the Obama Doctrine fit in with the history of presidents and foreign policy? In a recent New York Times interview with Thomas Friedman, President Obama enunciated an Obama Doctrine for dealing with nations such as Cuba and Iran. We will engage, but we preserve all our capabilities. By engage, he meant engage diplomatically. By capabilities, he meant our overwhelmingly superior military. Following the example of President James Monroe, a great many modern presidents have enunciated explicit or implicit doctrines, including Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Nixon, Carter, Reagan and George W. Bush. Some of them pushed the United States further forward in the world, others represented something of a step back. Putting Obama's doctrine in historical perspective suggests that he is returning to an earlier tradition of American foreign policy represented above all by those two great rivals, Kennedy and Nixon, but, typically, Obama used vaguer, gentler language than any other president, continuing his endless, so far fruitless search for consensus. The Truman Doctrine, presented to Congress and the world in a March 1947 speech, set the tone for the next 40 years of American foreign policy. Confronted with a civil war in Greece, President Truman argued that the United States should give aid to allied governments that were resisting internal rebellions aided by outside forces. While he did not specifically identify Moscow as the ultimate enemy, the speech became the basis for the containment strategy that ruled our foreign policy until 1989. And in fact, the Eisenhower, Nixon, Carter and Reagan doctrines were all simply extensions or modifications of containment. Eisenhower in 1957 announced that the United States would resist communist encroachment in the Middle East. Nixon in 1969 stated that the United States would no longer send ground forces to help Third World allies threatened by communist aggression, but it would use naval and air power. Carter in 1980 announced that the United States would forcibly resist any Soviet attempt to move into the Persian Gulf region. Going a step beyond containment to liberation, Reagan in the 1980s declared that the United States would assist guerrillas fighting communist regimes in the Third World.